The first rescue workers or operations continue in KwaZulu-Natal following devastating floods in the area. 23 people have been confirmed dead. The figure is expected to rise. ENC's Desan Tatia is at the Westcliff Secondary School in Chatsworth. That's where the caretakers' quarters have collapsed following that landslide in the area. We can actually now speak to Desan. He's joining us live from the school. So Desan, what does the collapse of part of the school mean for the many pupils who I imagine rely on it for some sort of education?
Well, the air is very somber here at the moment, Tembekile, and I think all I need to do is just show you that picture behind me. And just a day ago, there were at least 9 people living in what was once the caretakers' quarters here, and all that's left is what you see right now. And that's also because there are search and rescue teams that are still working on the area. They're trying to look for anyone that may be outstanding, in addition to the 6 bodies that they've pulled out of that rubble. There was one survivor. Fortunately, they're not certain exactly how many people remain in that rubble. Tembekile, I just want to take you quickly to the MEC for COGTA in KZN, Nomusa Dube. MEC, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know that you are consoling one of the family members behind. Firstly, maybe just start by telling us who the lady is.
She's a sister to the deceased that was in this house.
We'll just allow her space at this point. You've had quite a task today, and you've visited many of the scenes. One of the things that you just told me off camera was that initial number of 23 has already risen. What does it stand at right now?
Right now we're standing at more than 30 on the numbers, and we're still waiting for confirmation from other stations. We also have those that are still in hospital. One of them is still critical, but they're getting all the support and all the help from all government departments.
We've just been looking at rescue efforts, and it seems like resources are quite stretched at this point. How is the department managing to help out those that have been affected?
Yeah, the resources are quite stretched. We have brought in other neighboring municipalities, emergency services from Mkungundlovu as well as from Ilembe district to come and support. We also have the SAPS, various units from the SAPS as well as from the health department itself. We have various NGOs. Everybody is lending a hand because indeed the situation is very serious, and there's been serious devastation to the lives as well as to the infrastructure.
What have been the immediate priorities that your department has dealt with on the back of this storm?
The immediate is to ensure the safety of the people, and to assist with getting the bodies retrieved, those that are still trapped, but also ensure that the families are put into a safe place. And we have people now in the community halls that are being assisted from there. But also we will need to locate the families of the deceased, because in other areas we have not been able to locate the families of those that are deceased.
Now, this is a mammoth task, and I know that we have gone over those very unfortunate numbers of more than 30 that have passed away. How many do you know of at this point that have been displaced or that have lost their homes? Do you have any idea of how many people are affected?
We do not have a total number of people that are displaced at the moment, because others have gone back to their homes from the halls from last night. They had to go back and look at their belongings. And probably in the evening, once the weather starts changing, they might then come back to the community halls. But we have been encouraging people to stay off the buildings, particularly those that have been partially destroyed, and those that have been totally destroyed, just to ensure the safety of everybody.
And lastly, MEC, since you have been out and about and you are speaking directly to these disaster management teams, you've seen a holistic picture. What does that picture look like?
The picture doesn't look good at all, especially because as the first line response, the disaster management teams, we need to work with other sector departments such as the health, the SAPS, and all other emergency services to coordinate everybody to ensure that we take everybody to the relevant places where there is emergency relief that is needed in those areas. But so far, everybody seems to have arrived to all the sites. Now it is a matter of locating those bodies that have not been found, that are still missing, but also ensuring that the families do get the support that they need.
Okay, thank you, MEC. I see that the relative is now being treated by paramedics here, so we'll just allow her that space, Tembekile. But this has just really puts into perspective the devastation that the storm has caused. The MEC for Cogta there in KZN telling us what a mammoth task this has been and will be over the next few days and weeks as they try to help all of those that have been affected by the storm.
Listen, perhaps you could quickly recap for us just the updated number as far as the people we now know to have died in the storm, and just on the relative who we saw a short time ago, inconsolable really at the reality that a loved one has died in that rubble behind you. Again, reminding us that these may sound like numbers for some, but these are lives, these are people's loved ones, friends, brothers, sisters, and children.
Exactly, Tembekile. You know, when you speak about the death toll and without breaking it down into these individual numbers, it really just seems like this figure that's rising and will continue to rise for the rest of the day. But it's when you see these types of scenes and these pictures and you realize that every single one of those numbers meant something to an entire family, to an entire neighborhood, to a community, in fact. And now, in one go, you have 6 people being lost in an instance like this. In Malvern, you had 7 people that had passed away there. 4 of them had passed away during the course of the night. And earlier this morning, when we were in Malvern, we saw 3 others being rescued. And I think even worse than that, Tembekile, is that you've got children among the dead here. In Malvern, there was a 1-year-old baby that was pulled out of that rubble this morning, and it really does hit home. You would have seen the MEC herself, who's dealt with many cases like this, is also quite distraught, just as the community is here in Chatsworth too.
Desmond Tati live for us in the Chatsworth area. Thank you.